The new head of Warner Brothers has indicated he would like to make more Harry Potter movies, but should they do it and will they do it? My name is Tom and I'm here to go through the pros and the cons, or as we're going to call them for this video, the expecto pro-trollums and the avada condavras. My name is Tom and this is another episode of Pros and Cons. Well, hey there guys, welcome back to my movie channel and thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't been here already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, swish and flick, and ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on my take on all things movies. So this is Pros and Cons, where I go through 4 pros and 4 cons of a topic or a movie or something going on in the world of movies, and then I turn it over to you guys to let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? Do you think the pros outweigh the cons, or the cons outweigh the pros, or do you think they equal out? Do you think they will make more Harry Potter movies, as David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers, has indicated he wants to make more? Should they be able to close a deal with JK Rowling? All right, we're going to start with the pros. So pro number 1 is that new Harry Potter movies mean that we're going to get Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint all back together again. And that trio, you know, we've watched these kids, literally, we've watched them grow up on screen. And so to see them come back and play these characters in their 30s, what does that look like to see them together again? Even in the reunion special they did, it was absolutely magical. It really was, no pun intended. It was special. We all love them together. Their chemistry is great. They all love each other still. So it would be great to see those 3 come back and do 1 more Harry Potter film, 2 more Harry Potter films, however many. It would just be great to see those 3 back on screen again. These roles mean a lot to these people, and so it would just be fantastic to see them back together again. It really would. That's pro number 1. I think pro number 2 is the potential for further storytelling. You know, we've done the Voldemort thing. Voldemort's done. Let's jump ahead in time. You know, these actors are now in their 30s. What does that look like? Is Harry Potter an aura like he wanted to be in the films or in the books? Is Hermione trying to be the Minister of Magic? What's Ron doing? I don't know. Probably breaking more wands and running away from more spiders. You know, what does Hogwarts look like in a post-Voldemort era? What does that world look like now? And what are these characters doing? You can't just bring the 3 of them back just to, you know, have them introduce a new generation of characters. They really should be the main focus of however many new films they're going to make. You know, do we focus more on them, or do we go more Cursed Child or focus on their children? Like, you know, there's so much potential here that, and especially because, like, you know, let's say that JK Rowling doesn't write any more books and they're just going on, you know, making up new stories. There's so much potential there because they're not tied to the books like they were with the original films. And so, you know, you could take more, you know, you got more creative freedom with these new films. The third pro is this. Listen, the Fantastic Beasts movies were not like as well received as the Harry Potter proper movies themselves. And I don't think they were generating the kind of results that Warner Brothers and JK Rowling probably could have hoped for. And so when you launch a relaunched Harry Potter franchise with Dan and Rupert and Emma, you do have the potential to eventually, you know, if they're in 2, 3, 4 films, or however many it's going to be, you've got the potential to keep carrying on even after they finish their new run, if there's going to be a new run of Harry Potter movies. So you've got Harry's kids, and you could continue that. And I'm not really talking about necessarily doing Cursed Child, but you could do that if you wanted to. So you're just sort of, the more, you know, the new films could open up the door for more spin-offs, more potential series or sequels or prequels, you know, more of that, but not necessarily Fantastic Beasts. But it does open that door because Warner Brothers seems to be very franchise-focused right now. And I think bringing it back to Harry Potter himself and doing it that way and then spinning off from that rather than jumping back 70 years and doing Fantastic Beasts movies, which bit them in the ass a little bit, I think that's a smarter way to go. Which leads me to a natural fourth pro, is that doing more Harry Potter movies proper means dump trucks and dump trucks and dump trucks of money for everybody. Means money for Warner Brothers, money for the actors. Unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, money for JK Rowling. But it also means that we get the continuation of a franchise with characters that we grew up loving. And I think it's a win for everybody if the movies are good. Let's hope the movies are good, and let's hope that David Yates isn't directing another 5 Harry Potter movies, because he's already directed 7 Potter Universe movies. So hopefully there's a new director in there. But I think ultimately that's the hope of David Zaslav here, is that this all works out, and it works out, and it's a win for everybody. And clearly, you know, he didn't just throw this out in an investor's call, you know, just randomly. He's obviously had discussions with JK Rowling about this. So let's see how it shakes out. Personally, I want to see more. Give me more Harry Potter movies. Okay, let's get into the cons now, because whenever you have pros, there are going to be cons no matter how big or how small. Okay, con number 1 is it could potentially be cost prohibitive. Because, you know, our 3 main leads of the Harry Potter saga were Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and I almost said Hermione Granger, Emma Watson, right? And so if you're the agent or the manager of any of those actors, you're sitting back and you're seeing dollar signs, because all you're seeing is, well, hey, Warner Brothers, you can't make this movie without my client. We know that. We know you're not going to, you don't have the balls to recast Hermione Granger or Ronald Weasley. You can't recast Daniel Radcliffe in the role. So we can basically ask for however much money we want to ask for our client. And you're going to have to either give it to us, or you're going to have to risk recasting or not making these movies at all, because, you know, it's a business after all. And if you're Daniel Radcliffe or you're Rupert Grint or you're Emma Watson, you're sitting at home thinking, boy, I could surely make a lot of money out of these new movies. There's a fly in here and I want to catch it. But the con of that is that, well, because they can pretty much ask for however much money they want, because they've really got Warner Brothers backed into a corner, Warner Brothers could go, you know what, you're asking too much money, so we're just not going to make this at all. And I think, you know, yes, they could do the reboot route, or they could do a different spin-off, you know, route without these characters. But man, do you really want to risk that? Because, you know, if you're going to do more Harry Potter movies proper, you need the original 3 actors back. You really do. Like, I think it's all of them or it's none of them. And if you don't have all of them, you don't do it at all. That's just the way I see it. But that could be a con for Warner Brothers. They go, hey, they all want $25 million each, which I don't think is true. But let's, you know, they all want $25 million each. Well, we can't possibly pay that, because no actor is worth $25 million, even though it's happened. They're not going to pay that much money. So, you know, that's a con. It could end up just being completely cost prohibitive for Warner Brothers to do it. Okay, my second con is this. You've got, let's say they do another Harry Potter movie, and you've got Dan, Rupert, and Emma back, right? And I'm not talking about any other cast. I'm not talking about Tom Felton as Draco. I'm not talking about Neville Longbottom. I'm not talking about any of that, right? You've got the 3 main leads. Great. You got this new movie planned out. Great. Do you have Hagrid in it? Because unfortunately, the legend that is Robbie Coltrane passed away, which really, by the way, side note, really did affect me, because I grew up with Hagrid, literally. Normally, I am very pro recast, where I'm like, if you've got a story and it deems that this character is necessary for this story, but the actor, for whatever reason, is not available, even through death, then you recast. Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid's a bit of a different scenario, though. You know, sometimes like that, or with a Carrie Fisher, or even with a Chadwick Boseman, I kind of get why, I get the logic of not recasting those roles. And I don't know how you do a new Harry Potter movie without Hagrid, unless you were jumping ahead like, you know, 50, 60, 70 years. At that point, Harry's too old anyway, but like, unless you were really jumping ahead further in time or going back far enough, I don't know how you don't include Hagrid in that story. And if you're going to include Hagrid in that story, it sort of had to be Robbie Coltrane. Now, look, I'm not saying if they do another Harry Potter movie and they do recast Hagrid that I'm going to jump up and down and organize a boycott of the movie. No, that would be fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. Don't ever do that. Organizing boycotts of movies because you don't like a casting decision is not the right thing to do. But I'm just saying it would hurt a little bit. And I think we'd all feel it. And it would be a con from an audience point of view and probably from the actor's point of view. You know, if you're Daniel Radcliffe, do you really want someone else coming in and playing Hagrid when you were so close to Robbie Coltrane? I don't know, by the way. I haven't spoken to Daniel Radcliffe. I don't know how he feels about it. I'm just saying it's a potential con there because Hagrid's a very important, lovable character. And Robbie Coltrane is synonymous with Hagrid. That's all I'm saying. Con number 3, this is probably one of the biggest ones, is the dull JK Rowling controversy. I'm not going to get into what she said, what she hasn't said. I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. She can say whatever she wants. You can love it, you can hate it. I don't really get involved in all that shit. All I'm saying is, from a business point of view, if you're Warner Brothers, you want to make more Harry Potter movies, but you've got this whole JK Rowling thing looming in the background that's creating shit online. And, you know, JK Rowling, this is her franchise, and she maintains a very strict control over the rights to this franchise. Warner Brothers, and I'll get into this in my 4th con, but they cannot make a movie, a Harry Potter universe movie, without JK Rowling okaying it. And the whole JK Rowling controversy, you know, even a lot of the cast of the Harry Potter movies, of the Fantastic Beasts movies, have sort of come out against her in certain ways. And someone, I feel like an Emma Watson, might not even want to come back with the whole JK Rowling thing going on right now. And so if you've got Emma Watson going, listen, I love Hermione, I'd love to come back, but I don't want to come back in these movies because I don't want to be, I want to distance myself from JK Rowling and what she said, then that could, you know, because it like I said before, it's either all of the trio come back or none of them come back the way I see it. And if Emma Watson says, I'm not going to come back, I don't think the other 2 are coming back. It's an all or none scenario here. And so JK Rowling and the things that she has said could probably affect a lot of what's going to happen. But the other thing too is, does JK Rowling, and this is the 4th con, does JK Rowling want to write new Harry Potter stories? Does she want to come back? She obviously rightfully has to maintain control of the Harry Potter franchise. It's her right. It's her property. She can do what she damn well likes with it. Does she want to write new Harry Potter books? Does she want to write the script? Does she want to let Warner Brothers make new movies? Is she done with Harry Potter? You know, so it's not like Warner Brothers with almost any of their other properties. If they want to make a Superman movie tomorrow, they can go and make a Superman movie tomorrow. They don't have to get anyone's permission. They can just go and do it. Harry Potter's a bit different because they have the rights to make a Harry Potter movie if J.K. Rowling says they do. So they can't just go and make one without her. She has to be involved one way or another. And so you have that going on there. But, you know, money talks. So what they'll probably do is back up a dump truck of money to her front door and she'll let them do it. But I don't know. It's a con because, you know, it's a potential con there. It's a hurdle they've got to get over. And so anyway, guys, that is the way I see it. The 4 biggest pros and cons of potentially making new Harry Potter movies. Personally, listen, I love the Harry Potter movies. I would love to see more with Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint playing those roles again. I would love it. I know a lot of you guys would love it. What do you guys think? What are some other pros and cons that you think maybe I missed out on this list? Let me know in the comment section below. Keep the comments respectful as always. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't been here before, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on my take on all things movies. My name is Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.